I wanted to give a decompression tip. It can be very challenging to go from the bliss and joy of the Black Rock City experience to returning, not just returning to the default world, but then having all of these tasks and about cleanup and laundry and unpacking, especially after you spend a few days relaxing and showering and moisturizing, and then you got to go back and face the dust. And for a long time, I really struggled. It was so painful for me to return to the dryness and the dirtiness. But I had a shift that I want to coach you on. And that is, as you are doing your tasks of closure, as you are wiping things down, as you are at every object that is torn and tattered and dirty, that needs wiping, every object you can look at it and go, there's a story of why this is so dirty. And reflect back, allow yourself to go back to some sunrise, to some random porta potty experience, allow each scar to remind you of the battle. So you're not emptying out a water tank so that it doesn't mold You're actually wiping the last teardrops from the holy giant and his elixir of love, an elixir that served thousands of your fellow Black Rock City citizens. What a noble act. What a beautiful memory. And that just shift to allowing yourself to relive the joy, allowing yourself to bring into the present moment some of that awesomeness, not only makes the task easier, it also makes decompression easier. It also teaches you how to start blurring the line between there and here. How you feel there and here, how you act there and here. Because that is part 2 of the decompression regimen that I'm recommending. Part 2 is starting to look at places small and large where you can start to be and act the way that you did in Black Rock City. When you're there, it's so supportive and it reflects so much of your highest self that you start to act, you start to hug people, you start to look people in the eye, you start to shower people with compliments, you offer people gifts, and then you get to the default world where that's not the norm, and very quickly it is not reflected and people do not honor, sometimes even they'll take advantage of that kindness and love that you put out in the world. And very quickly you just want to turn it off until you get back. And I would say, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you end up getting unrequited love, but you still get to be a person that shares with the world love and light. You still get to be that person. You still get to end the day going, wow, I held the door open for 19 people today. I bought an ice cream cone for some kid that was struggling with how much change he had. I did all these things. That's who I was today. Now, did people come back, look back at me and go, yay, welcome home, and put beads over my neck in their gesture of kindness? No, probably not. But the more you are that in the world, the more you will find those people in the world, the more you will reflect those people, and the more you give permission to people to be that in the world. Yes, it is way easier in Black Rock City. Black Rock City is the scrimmage. That is, if you ever played a video game that you've got like training safe mode where you get as many lives as you want and you can try crazy things and you can, yes, there's a safety net. There's a bunch of people rubbing your shoulders. It's easy there. Good. Push yourself. Do it where it's hard. Be the same person. Give the same love. Share the same gifts. Your world will transform. And suddenly this idea of there and here, it instead becomes a matter of how much time do I have to work on my Burning Man projects versus what am I doing in the default world that reflects my Burning Man sensibilities. I don't know what it is for you. For me, I've had pink hair for 12 years. I work with a homeless outreach group that practices gifting. I try to look people in the eye. I try to embrace the pink in concept and color however I can. And it does make the world into a dustier, more beautiful place. It can be daunting because the world is not going to immediately change in front of you into a reflection of who you are and that gift that you are giving. But I have absolute faith, and if going to 18 burns and just having these cycles happen over and over, I can testify that every time you act from that place, you create a ripple. You may never see how that ripple touches the world. Or after 18 years or so, you might get blown away with where these ripples go and how they come back. My grandpa, one of the last things he did before he passed was he visited all of the parishes where he served as a minister. And he went back and saw these families and people that he had connected with and shared his heart with, for 60, 50 something years. And the expression of joy and gratitude that he shared as he talked about reaping what you sow, it was so powerful to see him go through that. And it was a really powerful lesson, reminder of what success is. At the end of my grandpa's life, he had no money in his bank account to speak of. He had some tattered books, and he had ripples of love all over that when he finally went to look up, just showered him. And he finished life. He went through the death process with this knowledge that he had a life well lived, that he spent the energy of his life trying to promote the things that he believed in the world. And I don't know what script you are working towards, what white picket fence or what definition of happiness that you're visualizing, but I guarantee that if you instead start going to, how can I feel like I'm putting the energy of my passions and my talents towards the things that I believe in, I guarantee you will feel whatever it is that you're wanting to feel from that mansion, from that prestige, from that fame. So, the decompression plan is 1, allow every task of cleaning and sorting to be a portal to a memory of how amazing it was. And 2, look for the opportunities where you can be who you are in the default world. There might be little tiny things you can do in the office. You might propose, hey, instead of having processed donuts once a week, what if each one of us, makes something every week? And before we eat it, we share why this food is important to us. Maybe we even have a moment of gratitude to appreciate this amazing day. I know I'm getting crazy, but I also know that it is possible. For the last 2.5 years, I was working in an office where they allowed me and then relished and thrived with a weekly gratitude practice, a gratitude circle that the entire company would sit down for an hour a week, and it was incredible. So don't tell me it can't be done. The more of us that express it, the more of us that give permission to one another, the less it's a crazy thing. The more it is something that all of us go, yeah, I would like to be a little bit more of who I really am in the default world. Whether I'm a burner or whether I'm anyone, everyone would like to be who they are. And if you are one of the agents that gives permission, you are an angel. And I